Good morning and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 75 of 2025, and I'm continuing the story of the King of the Wind. Now you might remember that after great ceremony, the horses and their riders were sent off to the sea, and there they went, riding to where the galley awaited them. When they got there, there was a beautiful gangplank that had been created so that the horse could safely enter the boat. They were taken down to their stalls below deck, and the lines were cast off. The captain navigated the ship out into the sea. Now, it took 4 weeks for their passage from Morocco to France. But long as that was, it was much longer for a number of awful reasons. This captain had pocketed so much of the money that was to be spent on the horse's feed and also for a crew. He looked at this as a one-shot deal, one time when he could make a great sum of money and perhaps not have to worry about working for the rest of his life. Instead of buying grain for the horses, he had those bags filled with straw. Instead of outfitting the boat with plenty of food for the groom boys, nothing but bread. Instead of having a crew, he figured he could depend on the 6 groom boys to do the work, hoisting the sails, lowering them, keeping the deck clear. By the time the horses and the crew arrived in France, they had changed completely. Both the grooms, Signor Achmet, and the horses were skin and bones. 4 weeks of hardly eating anything of substance would make any man, any human, look awful, any animal. And so as those horses were unloaded off the boat, the ribs showed on every one. Signor Achmet knew not what to do. He felt that the gift that they had once been was greatly diminished. He wondered about returning to Morocco, but knew that he couldn't without inciting the wrath of the Sultan. So they started on their way to the palace of Louis XV, a character from history that, is worth knowing a little bit about. Louis XV had succeeded to the throne at the age of 3 when his grandfather had died. 3 years old, he became king, but not the real king. He would not become the real king until he was 13, which was considered the age when a man was mature. 13 years of age. So during these years before that, which was the time when he received the horses, now the leadership of France was undertaken by his uncle, the Duke. Now, Louis XV was coming up to that age of 13 when those horses arrived, but still he was not in charge. He was known as Louis the Beloved, and it might be worth figuring out why that was. He reigned for 59 years, which is a very long period of time for people, and especially kings during that time in the world. We'll leave the story here with our riders, led by Signor Achmet, making their way across the landscape to the palace of Louis XV.